Oh, great, Kochise. Can you please send us a tactic that works so well? It wins league titles, wins Champions League, wins everything. This one is simply called the Kochise, and I apologize if I am not pronouncing that right. Kochise? I don't know. 523 FM24. It is created by the great Kochise. Kochise? I don't know. It looks like an Italian name. But the description says a cautious 523 you should consider to try. You'll be surprised once you get to full familiarity. Now, it was created by one person, but it seemed to be uploaded by someone else. I don't know. Someone had tested this out using some Norwegian team, it looks like, got to the tops of the league, looks very nice. Joe Avalon, who uploaded this where I got this from, played with Lokomotiv Leipzig, and it looks like it did a fantastic job with a 85% win rate, no losses. So overall, it seems like one to try. So we're going to check it out with our three teams of Liverpool, Aston Villa, and our championship side of Ipswich Town. With that said, let's just get into it and see how they did. Now, it does say that the tactic led Lokomotiv Leipzig to win multiple Bundesliga and eventually Champions League titles in the challenge itself. So there is a link in the I guess in the comment section of the page I got this from. So definitely check it out, read more about it. But unfortunately, it does not look like it worked for our Premier League teams. Liverpool in seventh. Yeah, they got Europa League, but 63 points, 66 goals is definitely down from where they're expected to get. 12th place for Aston Villa, 49 with 47 goals. Definitely did not work for that one. Liverpool only getting to the FA Cup fourth round, losing out to Blackburn 2-3, but they got to the Carabao Cup final and won over Tottenham 1-0, so they got a trophy at least. But in Europe, round of 16, and you're immediately dropped out against AC Milan. So overall, Premier League, not great. Europa League, not great. FA Cup, no. Carabao Cup is the only shining moment here, and you probably use some youngsters. But overall, it was not a good season for Liverpool. Squad-wise, yeah, they've got, 6 in the green, and that's it. Goals, 18 for Diaz. Nunez with 17. Assist-wise, 12 for Trent. Mohamed Salah with 11. And then average rating, you got 708 for Szoboszlai. But where did I see Salah? He had a 7.0. Alexander-Arnold had a 6.9. Aston Villa really not doing well in the domestic cups at all. Carabao Cup fourth round, you're out against Arsenal. And then the FA Cup third round replay against Fulham, 2-3 in extra time. They did, however, make it to the quarterfinals of the Conference League, but unfortunately losing out to Fenerbahce. So overall, Aston Villa doing a very dismal job this season. 12th place is awful. It's even lower than their media prediction of 10th at the start of the season. But quarterfinals of the Conference League, not bad. You definitely should have done better, though. Third round of the FA Cup, fourth round of the Carabao Cup, not great. Squad-wise, 3 in the green, and that does include Coutinho. Goals, 18 for Ollie Watkins, definitely down from where he usually sits, but not bad at all. 11 assists for Digne and Matty Cash, but average rating 701 is the tops for both McGinn and Luis. Wow. Data hub for these two teams. Liverpool, yeah, not the attacking prowess that they usually see. Even defensively, they got some openings. And then goals per game, only 1.74. Usually they're over 2. In almost every tactic we've seen, they're over 2. Conceded per game, 1.24. That is bad for them. And then Aston Villa, I mean, yeah, that's not looking too great. Defensively, even worse. Goals per game, 1.24, and then 1.42 conceded. Ouch. I had to go back to the screen because Aston Villa doesn't show up a lot in the stats. 7th place, though, points per game, 1.66. Aston Villa in 12th with 1.29. But overall, Premier League stats, most goals, Liverpool all the way down in 6th with 66. Fewest shots against in 6th with 335. Most possession, Liverpool in 8th with only 52%. Most dribbles made, Liverpool in 4th with 671. Aston Villa does make the list in 6th with 665. Best pass completion, Liverpool in 3rd with 89%, as does Aston Villa. So very nicely done there. But most shots for not there, and then most points per game we've already seen. But now, how did our championship side of Ipswich Town do? 7th place. Not great. Just out of playoff promotion spots by a handy margin. 7 points. So overall, it doesn't look all that great to them. 80 goals, not bad. We have definitely seen better, though. Domestic Cups looks pretty average. Carabao Cup second round against Chelsea. That's not surprising. FA Cup fifth round over Newcastle or against Newcastle. That's not surprising either. So overall, 7th place, we've definitely seen better there. FA Cup, Carabao Cup, you're not expected to go far too much, and you really didn't this time around. Squad-wise, 3 in the green, I'm not surprised. 27 goals for Hurst. Finally, he's being used in that spot that he's supposed to be used and getting the goals. If you throw him into there, even if he may not fit perfectly, you're going to get some goals, I think. I'm going to say. But it just, the FM system, if he's not a false 9, and this doesn't use a false 9, but if the system's using a false 9 and he's not one, they're not playing him at all, and it's really dreadful. But in this case, it worked perfectly. Unfortunately, not for the teams themselves. But 24 assists for Leif Davis. We're really seeing the 2 fire, and that's what you like to see. George Hurst with a 715, as does Leif Davis. Championship level stats, they're not here all that much. Most points per game, Ipswitch Town in 7th with 1.61. Most goals, they are on the list tied for 7th with 80, all the way down with most dribbles made, 5th place with 784, and then best pass completion with 8th with 89%, and that's it. But now let's take a look at this tactic itself. We start out with a sweeper keeper in support, complete wingbacks on the left and the right in attack, central defenders with a libero sandwich in between in support, deep line playmaker in support next to a CM in support, inside forward in attack on the left, an inverted winger in attack on the right, and a complete forward in attack up front. Cautious mentality, in possession, attacking with his fairly wide, approach plays pass into space, overlap on the left and the right, focus play down the left and the right, passing directness is shorter, tempo is slightly higher, whip crosses and work the ball in the box. In transition, counter press, distribute to the center backs and roll it out. And then out of possession, a mid-block line of engagement, a higher defensive line, trigger press is standard, and stay on feet. So now how did this do for our 3 teams? Not great. But I will say this is a back 5, which doesn't usually bode very well in the Premier League or in the English leagues from the tests that I've done, in FM at least. So Ipswich Town in 7th place, I'm not too surprised at. They definitely should have done better overall, and they would have if other tactics were employed. But this case, it just doesn't seem to have worked. And then if we look at Liverpool and Aston Villa, yeah, overall, not great. 7th place for Liverpool, Aston Villa in 12th. Even though Liverpool got a trophy, it's still not the greatest of seasons. But this is not a tactic that has been previously tested, or at least on paper, with Premier League, with English teams. So it could be just the league itself. I will never say a tactic is really awful. It just may not be well suited for the teams that are being tested with. So if you use it in the Spanish league, German league, who knows? But you do have Lokomotiv Leipzig, who did very well. You do have a Norwegian team that did very well in the test that they got. But in the Premier League, not so much. So that is it for me, Seffian FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.